Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Inside Michigan Basketball. You know, the coaches, the players, they tell us over and over again how hard it is in the Big Ten, in college basketball in general, to win and to win with consistency. Well, the Wolverines saw the highs and lows of that this week with a couple of games on the docket. Inside Michigan Basketball is presented by Meyer.
Guys, offensively, we've got to get to the offensive glass. We've been shooting it well, and teams that shoot it really well have a tendency not to crash the glass. Let's assume everything's a miss. We're crashing middle. There's no harm done in transition defense. And let's let these guys know they don't have 1 second that they can rest and take off against us. Good for great shots. That's probably been our biggest improvement offensively. Simply turning down a pretty good one for a great one. Let's continue doing it. Separate in transition. Guys, we saw them running in transition. They're on the road a long way from home, and we are well-oiled machines here at home. Let's sprint in transition, make good, simple decisions, defensively ball pressure. Guys, it's 15 games in. We're starting to know what our function is, know our role, know our value to this team. And whoever does the most dirty work typically gets rewarded. And then we've got to have great excitement for each other. When we watch championship level teams, there's a couple playing now, there's be a couple playing tomorrow. Championship level teams have a different level of excitement for each other. They have a different level of excitement than everybody else, than all the middle of the pack teams, all the mediocre teams, all the teams begging to get in the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. Let's make sure we're more excited for our teammates than we are ourselves tonight. Let's go play ball today.
The Wolverines established themselves early and led for all but 18 seconds, taking the lead for good about 2 minutes in.
Here's a drive by Donaldson, left lane, scoops it. Listen, Goldin left wing, takes the three, makes the three!
Namari Burnett was perfect from the floor, 6 for 6, including 4 three-pointers. He notched 13 of his 16 points before the break.
Porter Burnett, another three ball, another bang!
Michigan led 48-38 at the half and never let up.
And up ahead, Donaldson, shot fake, lays it up and in on the right side. Behind the back skip to Donaldson. Zip it into a cutting Goldin who finishes with a right hand.
Vlad Goldin led the way with 19.
Donaldson skip it into a driving Goldin, makes it up there and scored it. Right corner, Walters another three. Wolf crafty dribbling, jab step, shoots a right wing, three and knocks it down. Michigan, a 10th made three, 5 straight games of 10 or more from downtown.
The ball finds energy, and the ball finds good energy, and goes in for good energy as well. So we play the right way, we play efficiently, we play together, and automatically the game is going to reward those guys who, put in the work and then also are unselfish and make plays for others.
We're a very unselfish team. I think that we all love each other and we play together. And I think it shows with the good looks that we get and the shots that we create for each other. So I think it's really good just to be with a group of connected guys like we are. But we're not satisfied. We want to keep working and just keep continuing to build every day.
Our aggressiveness to loose balls, our tenacity on the ball, our intelligence defensively, those things have to be steady. We've shown we can do it at the highest level, and tonight we didn't do it at the highest level. We're going to be told how great we are a lot going forward, but just know all that stuff is guys, it's distracting for what we need to do, and that's get better and continue to figure some things out.
What have you seen and felt the way the crowds, this town, this university has kind of gravitated to this team in a hurry?
I enjoy it. I have never really experienced anything like it, especially with such a successful season we're having. I feel like, we're starting to get some fans and some looks coming to in Chrysler. So I feel like that's a huge advantage for us when we get some home games.
Well, we're pleased with our start in Big Ten play. We feel like we're improving week by week. We've seen a lot of different styles of play, defenses, offenses. So a lot to learn. We still have a long way to go. I'm excited to get back on the road and see if we can continue to perform well under adverse conditions. But just excited to be moving in the right direction and being healthy this time of year. Now that we're going to be getting more attention and more love, it's good. It's good for the sport. It's good for this university. It's good for our team and their individual careers and whatnot. But we can't believe the hype. We just got to make sure that we continue to worry about us, focus on us. There's preparation and game planning for the opponents, but our mindset and our ability to focus on getting better and what we need to work on is much more important. If we're getting tired of practicing now in early January, then we're not going to max out as early.
Thursday, the Wolverines were at Minnesota's historic and quirky Williams Arena, emerging from the steep stairs to an elevated court.
We know how tough road wins are. It's a fist fight for 40 minutes no matter where you are. And guys, if we stay in our strengths, then everyone's going to eat. There's enough for everyone to eat as long as we stay in our strengths and keep doing what we can to function as a group, as a team, bringing our best to this group, all right? Let's go play some ball.
Will Cheddar returned to his home state with over 100 family and friends in attendance, and he gave Michigan a big lift early with back-to-back threes. Cheddar finished with 15 on 6 of 9 shooting. But 6 Michigan turnovers in the first 10 minutes kept the Gophers in it. A 10-0 run late in the half helped put the Wolverines up by 9 at the break. And they added to it on the first bucket of the second half. The Gophers pulled even with a 10-0 spurt of their own with 10:17 to go.
Patterson takes it into the paint. Shot good off the window.
This one teetered the rest of the way. There were 9 lead changes and 8 ties. Regulation ended all square at 71. Late in overtime, Danny Wolf drives for 2 of his team-high 23 to tie the game with 7 seconds to play. But then, this happened.
Patterson bunts into Donaldson, feeds Garcia, three-point heave at the buzzer from 40 feet away, and he knocks it down.
We had a lack of discipline, a lack of focus, and from my teammates and I alike the last few days. And in a league like this, you can't have that happen, and we just got to take it on the chin and move on.
You know, I hate to say, is it a lesson, because you guys have all played so much basketball, but is it a not-so-gentle reminder of what it takes? Because you guys have been so consistent this year.
Yeah, it's one of the best conferences, if not the best conference in college basketball. And no team can be overlooked, no matter what their record is. And Minnesota's had some very tough losses, and they were going to eventually win. And unfortunately, it came against us, and we just got to be better moving forward.
What are the emotions when you get in a game like this, and you know it's, you know, any single play, any single moment can end up kind of costing you or pushing you over the finish line?
I mean, you got to be mild-mannered. I mean, you can't get high, you can't get too low. So, I mean, it's just put your head down and just continue to make winning plays. That's all you can do.
Great to be able to come home and play in front of, you know, people that have, you know, grown up watching me, but obviously ridiculously disappointed with, you know, like a few things I did myself, team, and just the overall game. We just got to get back to the fundamentals of who we are, how we've won games in the past. Got to get back to being unselfish, rebounding the freaking basketball, and just things like that.
Up next, we'll chat with the head coach, Dusty May. Inside Michigan Basketball is presented by Meijer, proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. Our conversation with the coach is brought to you by Meijer. Joined now by head coach Dusty May. And coach, first let's dive into this Gophers game a little bit. A tough night from start to finish against a team that was very motivated at home. What did you see in that one?
We felt like they were quicker to loose basketballs. They won almost every 50-50 basketball battle, especially late in the game. We just weren't as physical as we needed to be. They were the more determined team, and it's something that we have to learn from.
Vince Lombardi used to say, it's not practice makes perfect, it's perfect practice makes perfect. How was your game week prep going into that game? Did you feel good about it?
It wasn't great. The past week, we've had a couple of our main players, our leading scorers, nursing minor injuries. So we didn't have a full group, and so when you lose a little bit of leadership, and then Trey Donaldson still banged up with an ankle injury, we just didn't have a good rhythm and flow to practice. And so going forward, we just have to be much more intentional to do the dirty work and make sure we get in, get out with some productivity.
You guys lead the country in two-point field goal percentage. You touched on it a little bit, but how much was it Minnesota doing Minnesota things? How much of it was maybe Michigan just not having a great night? It
was certainly a combination. I do think we had several shots around the rim. Vlad missed a dunk, an uncontested dunk. He had another layup or two just rim out. And so there were certainly circumstances that that's part of the game. Some nights they just don't drop. There were others that we just went up without much force and power. We kind of threw it up expecting fouls, and we need to adjust to the way the game's being called in the Big Ten much better than we have up to this point. You've heard it from some of the West Coast schools, and every game's a different journey and entity, and we have to do a better job of understanding how physical it is early in the game and adapting to that.
4 losses by a combined 8 points. Do you take solace in the fact that even a night when your guys maybe aren't where you want them to be, you're still in games with a chance to win?
Well, there's a positive and a negative. On the first side, we talk about a lot that if we do the dirty work and we're the more aggressive team, we're quicker to loose balls, we rebound the ball, we play defense at an extreme elite level, then the nights the shots fall just determine the margin, and we'll find ways to win. Well, last night the shots around the rim didn't fall. We missed some front ends, and we didn't communicate and sit down defensively like we're capable of. So it was a perfect storm, and they made their breaks, and obviously it's tough to lose on a last-second shot, but we also didn't feel like we deserved to win that game because of our effort.
Does that build scar tissue for the rest of this Big Ten drive and for postseason play?
Yeah, we've talked about it after the game, and it was a very similar message as it was after the Wake Forest game, and we've responded and regrouped. Sometimes human nature kicks in where maybe we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves with not realizing what made us as good as we have been at times, and so we've just got to regroup and focus more on the things we can control, which is the physicality, the toughness, the quickness to the ball.
Conversely, the win over Washington, you led for all but 18 seconds. What did you like most about that game, especially coming off that West Coast trip when there was a lot of other kind of variables at play?
Well, we learned we could play with our bigs in foul trouble and some different lineups, but overall we didn't play with the same competitive edge and fire that we have when we've been at our best. Obviously coming back from the California trip, we didn't have the first couple days weren't great practices because we had a red eye back and whatnot, and classes started. So that definitely affected us, but I think we forgot how difficult it is to win in the tough competitive environments, and when you're making shots, it masks that. So sometimes our offense will mask our defensive deficiencies.
Still to come, the big man in the middle doing big things.
Last week, after a couple of Michigan wins, big man Vlad Goldin was named the Big Ten Co-Player of the Week. He averaged 27.5 points, 7 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game. He shot 76% from the floor. Brian Bush from the radio team has more on the Wolverines' man in the middle.
Grad student center Vlad Goldin is one of the most efficient players in the country, competing for one of the most efficient teams in the country. And after an award-winning performance last week, Vlad knows it could have been a number of his teammates who could have taken home that award too.
This team is different because for 1 for 15 we have such a good players, and that's the best weapon of this team is even we don't know whose night it's gonna be, but we know somebody's gonna step up.
A new wrinkle to Goldin's game this season, an occasional three-point shot. He's made more than he's missed so far, and it's something that he's been working on for a while and most certainly enjoys.
Previous team FAU, we had 4 guards around me, and I was a center with 4 guards, not even forward. So it's wasn't a place for me to find the space and try to put it in my game. So I just take what game gives me, and right now I was wide open. That's why I took my first shot. It's something that I put a lot of work on, and I was waiting for the moment when I needed to use it. And I guess this season I used it.
Your twin sister, where are you two most similar and where are you two most different as personalities?
Our personality, I would say, very similar. I might be a little bit less lazy than she is, but she does everything when she needs it, but she's not pushing too much.
Is there a sibling rivalry?
That's why I had my older sister. My older sister was an athlete, so I've seen her, how do you call it, medals? I've seen on her wall medals. So at some point I was I need one more. She goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more. I need one more. I need one more first place and whatever it is. So for my rivalry, I had my older sister.
Sibling rivalries helped prepare Vlad Goldin to get to college basketball and ultimately to Michigan. And now what Namari Burnett termed ethical basketball has helped Vlad Goldin take home some awards and helped Michigan to a very strong start in Big Ten play. For Inside Michigan Basketball, I'm Brian Bush.
Here again with Coach May. And Coach, can you tell us something about Vlad that maybe a lot of us don't see, but you and the coaches appreciate and see, that helps make him a good player at this level?
Vlad has so many qualities that make him a good player. First and foremost is his humility and his care for other people. He's a great teammate, and he's a connector to all the groups and the young guys with the old guys. The one interesting fact with Vlad, he did dabble in amateur modeling back when he was in Boca Raton. I think it flamed out, but he did give it a shot, much like his twin sister has.
Before we let you go, Northwestern later today, Coach Collins has called his team a bunch of tough guys. Give us a little breakdown of this game and what you think the keys are going to be.
That's an understatement. They're extremely physical. They're old. They play a very unique style where their two best players, Martinheiser and Martinelli, they operate in the mid-range, and they try to take advantage of matchups. But they're physical. They're aggressive. They challenge you for every spot on the court. And if we're not ready for that street fight, back to Vlad's wrestling, if we're not ready for that wrestling match, it could cause us some problems.
Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Welcome back. One of the key members of Dusty May's staff is assistant Justin Joyner. He's California all the way. Born and raised, college at UC Santa Barbara, and spent the last 7 years on staff at St. Mary's before joining the Wolverines.
Worked under Randy Bennett, who was, one of the best college coaches there is. And, for me to leave, it was going to take somewhere special and someone special. And that's kind of where Michigan and Coach May stood out to me. So it's just one of those places that I was always in awe of growing up, and then obviously being here, I really felt the love and the passion of the fan base and the brand as a whole.
I asked Justin how it came together, how he ended up in Ann Arbor. He said after several interactions with Dusty, it was very clear their visions aligned on how to build the program.
When we come back, the women, how this Minnesota native is thriving in her first season with the Wolverines. Welcome back. The women picked up a pair of wins this week, beginning Wednesday against Washington. Michigan used a 14-0 first quarter stretch to grab a big lead that never dipped below 10 the rest of the way. Playing in her 100th Michigan game, Jordan Hobbs tied a career high with 22.
Up top, Hobbs, wide open for three over Ladine, splash.
And freshman Olivia Olson was next on the score sheet with 18. The 82-69 win was the Wolverines' second straight. Number 3 in a row came Saturday against Rutgers. Led by guard Mila Holloway, the Wolverines started strong. She scored 9 of her 13 in the first frame as Michigan raced out to a 10-point edge. The Scarlet Knights stuck within striking distance much of the way, but the Wolverines opened the margin late in the third. Olivia Olson with 3 of her 13.
Kick out Olson, her 3. You betcha!
Pushing the lead to 16 after 3. In the fourth, Silas Swords goes on a flurry, scoring 8 points in less than 2 minutes. She netted a game-high 20. Michigan rolls 87-71.
This is a young Wolverines team. 5 freshmen on the roster. 6'1" Olivia Olson has started every single game, and she has performed like a well-seasoned veteran.
Olson is the team's leading scorer, averaging 16 points per game.
I have good people around me, and my teammates and coaches believe in me, and so being surrounded by people who believe in you gives you confidence to be able to perform.
She's also top 2 on the team in minutes played, rebounds, block shots, and steals.
I just try and go give it my all every game, and yeah, I don't really have any fears. I just want to go perform, and obviously I've been working on stuff to keep with that mentality, even if stuff happens, mentally not having a good game, like the bounce back, just trying to push through that at the college level.
She's relentless.
I always believe in myself, and so I want to always have that belief in me, and I'm thankful to be in this position, but it wouldn't have been possible without all my teammates and the people who have believed in me before too. And so to get to this point, you have to have people assisting and doing other stuff, and so our team just does a great job. I think everyone plays their role, and so yeah, it's been great so far though.
Olivia and the Wolverines are at Minnesota Wednesday and then come home Saturday to take on MSU. The men head to Purdue Friday for a Fox National game against the Boilermakers. We'll break it down for you next week on another edition of Inside Michigan Basketball.
Inside Michigan Basketball is presented by Meijer, proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest.